Hello friends, good evening to all of you and welcome to JTC India YouTube live classes. So all of you get connected soon or fastly so that we can start the classes and all other sort of things, right? So if any kind of question you are getting, any doubts you are getting from the previous classes, and mostly the main thing is like we have completed the Java language, you can say. We have completed what we have completed, that is Java language we have completed. The Java language topic we have completed it, right? And if in case you are getting any questions, any doubt from this previous class called as Java language and all other sort of things, so that we can see that we can get it into it. So the good evening to all of you. Okay, yesterday what we have completed is the array we have completed, and in that if you are getting any kind of questions, any doubts, so definitely on that corresponding videos you can comment, and again we will be getting back to you on the same thing and we will respond to that all. Okay, so today the important topic what we are going to start here is the topics what we are going to start here is that is OOPS concept. OOPS concept here. What is that now? OOPS concept. We are going to now talk about the OOPS concept here. What exactly this OOPS concept is? Fine. Okay, well, good evening to all of you. What exactly OOPS concept is? If suppose at any point of time, if I'm asking anyone, let's be anywhere, if you are standing anywhere, if you are asking to anyone that what is Java, if suppose you are asking to anyone what exactly means, if you will ask the question, do you know the Java? If you are asking anyone any question, something like, do you know the Java? Getting it? So the very first thing anyone will say, it's a programming language. Okay, very good. Next thing what they will say, that it is based on the object oriented programming. It is a kind of object oriented programming, right? It is a object oriented programming. So my question to you all is, what exactly that object oriented programming is now? And one thing here at present, when we are saying Java is the object oriented programming language, so at present scenario, till this Java 11 is going on, in that case here Java version called as 11 is at present, which is there available in the market. Fine. So we cannot say now that Java is only object oriented language itself. Java is only object oriented language itself at this time. No, we should not say that only. Yes, OOPS concept definitely we are going to discuss, but Java is nowadays not only the OOPS concept language, not only it is following the OOPS concept, there are other things also which Java is following in these cases here. So I'll tell you first what all things Java is following. First of all, without any doubt, it is following the OOPS concepts. It is following the OOPS concept. Java, it follows the OOPS concept. The second important thing, can you tell me please in the comment box what next it is following? So the second one what it is following here is, the second one, it is the functional programming. Functional programming language. It is a short of functional programming language also. There are the number of features of functional programming language has been included in Java. It is available in Java, right? So over a time period, I'll be discussing all of them, right? It is okay. Now, other than that, other than that, hi, so all of you can like it, share it fastly so that others can come fastly. We can start the class. Anyways, I have started the class, but if you can share it fastly, you can like these things. Fine. Okay. Now, next one here, let's see what is the next one we are talking about. It is a functional programming language. Yes, it is following the functional programming language also. Okay, at present I am not coming to other than this. There are many other points also. At present I am not going into that because the topic name itself, here I have given the OOPS concept. So let me be specific to the OOPS concept itself. Fine. So that's the thing here. Let me come to the OOPS concept first. In Java, OOPS concept. Here if I'll ask you, first question, the first question is here. What all different OOPS concepts is available in the case of Java? Different OOPS concept. What all different OOPS concept is available in the case of Java? Question is, what all different types of OOPS concept available in Java? Well, or what all different OOPS concept is there? So the very first thing is abstraction, encapsulation. Very first one, abstraction, encapsulation, fine. Inheritance and polymorphism. Here are the four concepts as I am talking about. First, as I told, here is the first one is the abstraction. Second one is now encapsulation, fine it is, and second one here what we are talking about. Third one here what we are saying is the inheritance, and here the fourth one is polymorphism. These all are the specifically measured four types of OOPS concepts are available. There are the totally four types of OOPS concepts are available. So I'll come to these all four OOPS concepts which is available here. I'll be coming to all these four OOPS concepts. But the first thing is that whenever we say OOPS concept, whenever we say Java or whenever we are saying OOPS concept, so first of all, what is the need of OOPS concept in the case of Java? In the case of Java, what is the need of object-oriented programming? Why do we need this object-oriented programming? Fine, it is. That should be a question or not? That why should we need the object-oriented programming first? Right? Why we should need the object? So see, first thing, if initially what these Java people have decided, that majorly if I am going to write any program based on Java, so the very first thing which we will be talking about is the class. What we will be talking about is the class. Okay, so let's see what is the class we are talking about. I'm not just removing it, that should be, let it be as it is here. So whenever we are talking about that, the very first thing we will say that a class. So anything wanted to write, whatever you wanted to write, that should be inside the class. So why it should be inside the class? Because depending on the corresponding behavior of that corresponding, or means for what class we are designing, so the properties of that corresponding one we can write inside one class itself, right? All that things we can write inside a class. Fine. So here first, when I'm writing here, suppose employee one class I have written here, one class I have designed here, I have written that is the class name, something called as the employee we have written is the name of the class. Hope you are getting it. Fine. We have written one name of the class, that is the employee I have written is the name of the class. Fine. Okay. Next, again associated with this, some properties I must have to define here, some properties I must have to define. Properties must be there inside this class. There must be some kind of properties which should be there inside the class. We must have to write some properties inside a class. Okay. So why do I need to write only inside the class? That all is related to the OOPS concept itself. That all, every sort of things which is there is related to the OOPS concept itself. So, okay. Now let me come to the point here. The point first, what I was talking about is the abstraction. And one more thing, it's an object-oriented programming. What I'm saying? Object-oriented programming. Which means that everything, whatever we are writing, that whatever we wanted to do here, that is going to be in the form of objects and all, right? Anything, whatever we are doing, that will be there in the form of object here. Fine. So the first, what is there here is the, what exactly abstraction is here. What is the need? What is the abstraction? What is the abstraction? See, one thing, if let's say I'll ask you one question, the question what I am asking is, the question is, what exactly you should do in order to write a program? What exactly you should do in order to write a program? I'm taking it something different way of explaining the OOPS concept here. So if I'm asking you that what exactly you should do in order to write a program, if you want to write any kind of program, so what you should do exactly first? Okay. Okay. The first thing is, you will be first thinking for what kind of problem and what problem you are getting exactly, and that particular problem you are going to solve by writing a program. By writing some program, what kind of problem exactly you are going to solve? So for that problem, in order to solve that particular problem, you are going to write a program. In order to solve the particular problem, you are going to write a program. Fine. This is your thought process. So and now when you are thinking that I am going to write a program, I am thinking that when I am going to write a program, getting it? So in that program, what all different things you are going to define, how you are going to achieve your objective whenever you are going to write a program. That is what, that particular process itself, we will be calling it as an abstraction. We will be calling that particular one as an abstraction. You are thinking it, how we are going to, so in another form, what we can say, that the abstraction is a design level concept. It is a design level concept, and equivalently, we are not going to write particularly in our program. We are not going to have the use of all that sort of things in our program. We are not going to use all that our program. We are not going to get that all things into our program. So it is a design level concept. Always remember that. Always remember that it is a something called as the design level concept. Anyone, if any comments, anything, any questions you are trying to ask, anything you can do. So you can just write it in the comment box. Okay, no issues. So anything like that, whatever you are doing is the abstraction, is whatever the process you are thinking. Fine, that is what we will be calling it as an abstraction. Is that clear now? I am making it in a very short and simple, that abstraction, the process what you are thinking in order to write some kind of problem solving things or whatever programs you are writing, that is what we will call it as an abstraction. Very first thing. Now next one, the second thing, what as I am trying to implement here, first you see, now you see here. So let's suppose you wanted to you wanted to create some kind of program. For whom you want to create some program? You want to create some program for student, for employees, for anyone, right? So whenever you wanted to create some program and all, you are thinking how I'm going to write the things into that, right? So that is again what all different members I should write it. That all things you are defining with the help of which is that encapsulation here. What is that encapsulation? Is suppose you are writing a class. Let's say you are writing a class. Suppose some class you are writing. So as I said, you are writing class called as the employee. You have written a class called as the employee in this. Fine. Whenever you have written a class employee, so see everything you are encapsulating it. You are writing inside a wrapper. That is a class. The properties, whatever you wanted to write, that all things you are going to write inside this class with the proper access modifiers. Which access modifiers, if I'll say in more simplified word, then we can call it accessibility, right? Whether which is visibility, with the visibility modifiers, like we are going to define it inside this. So which one is going to, so in short what we can say, which one is going to be the public, which one is going to be the private, which one is going to be the protected, all these different sort of members we will be defining, and that is what we will be calling it as an encapsulation. In another form, so suppose here, if I am writing here, suppose some data type we are writing, so int of, let's say I am writing SID. You are defining it here. You are writing what now? Some name you are writing. Let's say that is string you are writing. String again you are writing, well, city you are writing. Like that, other fields, other properties also you are going to define it inside this. Fine. You are going to write all these different properties. But yes, with that one more thing is there. We are going to write some of the specific methods also we are going to write. Let's say I am writing here, suppose some word of M1 method also we are writing. So what is the approach of the method, why you wanted to write all these things and all other sort of things here, what we are exactly going to write it inside this, why we are writing it. So this is one form of encapsulation, the things which we are going to do it inside this, correct? So that's all the things what we have here. These all are the different kinds of approaches what we are getting it into this. Now again, let's say, yes, you can say, Pramod Prajapati, you can say that the properties and operation of a class, properties, again I am saying, properties and operation of a class, what you wanted to define inside a particular class, for the particular class is called as the encapsulation. All the members, whatever you are defining inside these all, in the different form and all other sort of things, that is what we are going to call it as an encapsulation. Different properties what you are defining inside this, that is what we are calling it as an encapsulation inside this. Is that clear now? Pramod, is that clear to you? Means see, first again, once again I am repeating it. Once again I am repeating. You are thinking to solve some problem related to the employee. Got it? Okay. Now you got an idea that I should write some program to solve some problem related with the employees. Correct? Now what you should write into that? So okay, you thought, okay, employee should be there, there should be unique identification of the employee, name should be there, department should be, and number of things should be there. So that all properties you are writing inside this. These members, variables what you are writing inside the class is the property. For whom? Property for the employee, right? If anyone is employee, they must be having these properties. So that is what we are defining it first here. That is what we are defining now. So these all property we will call. Now, based on these properties, what type of operation exactly it is going to do? What type of operation it is going to perform? That all things also you are going to write within this class itself. that all types of operation you are going to define that inside this class itself. Are you getting my point? So that's what we are encapsulating, means in a particular bundle, in a particular wrapper, we are wrapping out properties and its operation. Operation means what? Or different kinds of functions and all other sort of things we are writing. So that all things what we are clubbing it out in a class, and that's what we are calling it as an encapsulation. Fine it is now? Okay. In another form, what we can say, that is something called as a data hiding also. What is that we can call? Something called as the data hiding, something we are calling. Okay. Whenever as such I am saying kind of data hiding and all other sort of things, if I am saying here something called as the data hiding and all other, so what property you are using here, what property, what access modifiers you are going to use inside all these things, that's what we will be calling it as a, so whether it can be accessed outside this class or not, or what. So that is what we are calling. So in another form also you can say that is the data hiding. And the data hiding you are going to do in the different labels that we will be discussing in the further classes and our upcoming classes. What is this? Like you are defining something inside the method, block, different methods, private members inside the class, protected members of the class, public members of the class, all these sort of things you are trying to do the encapsulation more and more smarter, sorter, something like that, right? It is, that's what we will be calling it as an encapsulation here. Fine. Okay, anyone else, any other question in this? Any questions? Hello, all of you are there or not? I think today you have the good light and everything is clear, you are able to see these things clearly. Is it like that or not? Is it you are able to see the things clearly today? Okay. So in compared to the everyday classes what we were doing, today you are getting the nice look and all everything, means what you are able to see it clearly, you are able to see everything. So everything is fine. Well. So like that, step by step we are improving everything, and hope so today you have the good something like this and you are getting everything is fine here. Okay. So hope so you got the 2 points clear. What is the 2 points clear? One is abstraction and second one is the encapsulation. Did you got the clear idea about this? Did you got the clear idea about this encapsulation and abstraction here? Abstraction and encapsulation, is that you are okay with this? Okay, fine. Now again in this we have another one called as something called as the inheritance. What we have next one is the inheritance we are talking about. What is the exactly inheritance is? How we are going to use this inheritance in our program and all other sort of things. So what is this inheritance here is? Okay, so I'll be now again coming to see what happens. Inherit. If I am using the word inherit, which means already something with someone, it was already available and now you are inheriting it, means you are taking it from them. You are able to use the facilities of that corresponding one, the corresponding properties, anything, whatever you are inheriting from the somebody else. Generally we will say that our parental property will be inherited to us, means without doing anything, whatever parental properties are there, that will be inherited to us. Is it? Right. So okay, some blood relation is there, something is there. So that depends like how it is being inherited, correct? In Java also similarly things are available. What is that things are available? The things are something like if already some kind of class, something, some properties inside the class, somewhere it's been defined, somewhere, let's say somebody has written, some of you might be a very good programmer, very good developer. So what you have written is you have developed some kind of function, you have developed some kind of methods, classes, variables and all other sort of things you have developed. Now, one day what happened, I am writing the program. So I thought it that one of my friend is there and he has developed the same kind of code what I am trying to use or what I am trying to develop now. So what I will do is that I can inherit that code, means that facilities, that all things, instead of writing again, what I can do it, I can take it from my friend, right or not? I can use it from him as it is. And if I can use it from here, so that's what we will call it as an inheritance. In Java, there are like that itself, different types of inheritance is there. The types of inheritance we will discuss in the topic called as inheritance. Whenever we are going to come on that topic called as inheritance, there we will be discussing here. Okay. Now here you see the basic thing. If you are writing a class, let's say I am writing a class. Here I am writing a class. Suppose some class we have called as the car. We have one class called as the car. Into this some properties are available here. Properties are available here. Fine. So there is a class called as car. Inside this some properties are available here. There are some properties which is available inside this. Is it okay? Well, now when we have these all properties, so see, what things we will say that it is a car? What we are going to call it as that it is a car, which is having 4 wheel, 1 steering, some fuel tank, seats, some members can sit in the car, it should be covered, something like that. That should be car. So if anyone is designing a car, that should inherit that should follow the basic features of a car. Are you getting my point? If anything is something like that, it is, so that should follow the features of that existing car, correct? So suppose I am writing here, what is that? I am writing a class called as a car. I am writing into this, or you can write here some M Maruti 800, one car is there. Okay. This Maruti 800, what it is doing? What it is going to do? It is extending. What it is doing? Extends. What it is extending now? Car it is extending here. Are you able to see that? It is extending what? It is extending the car. So what will happen? What all the properties are available inside this, that all properties will be there for this M800 also. That is what we will call it as an inheritance. These all properties which is there inside the car, that all can be inherited, correct? If like somebody else, so here again it depends that the owner of a class means whoever is originally writing that class, they want that their code, their class, their method should be inherited to the should be inherited by somebody else or not. Accordingly, they can put some restriction on that also, on the class. What kind of restriction? That again we will discuss for the upcoming classes, what kind of restriction. So they can declare some classes in final so that it cannot be inherited and all other sort of things here, right? So that is what we will call it as an inheritance. There are again different types of inheritances is there that we will be coming on the topic, and that time we will discuss is what all different types of inheritance which is available into that. Is that clear now? Okay. I'm just giving one overview of OOPS concept. I'm just giving what now? A kind of overview of OOPS concept into this. Okay, well now, so this is the inheritance. Here again now, I'm talking about another concept. The concept what here as again I am talking about is, let's say I am writing that is the polymorphism. What is that I am writing now? Polymorphism I am writing here inside this. The polymorphism concept as such again I am talking about, correct? In this case, in the case of polymorphism concept here, what is polymorphism? Poly means what? Many. Polymorphism. One form, morphism, polymorphism, correct? One thing which is behaving differently. That is true in the different cases. One thing we are having, and the behavior of that is being defined in every case. It is working something different kind of properties it is coming with, right? So one form behaving differently in different cases is called as the polymorphism. One form behaving differently in different cases is called as the polymorphism. Is it okay? Now, what is that again? What is that again in this? One form behaving differently in different cases is called as what? It's something called as the polymorphism we are going to talk about, correct? Now on the same thing here, the polymorphism which is there here, it can be achieved. Can be achieved in two different ways. This can be achieved in the two different ways. What is that two different ways it can be achieved? In what is the two different ways it can be achieved? Polymorphisms can be achieved in two different ways. Can you write in the comment box in what all different ways it can be achieved? Yes. The one is method overloading. It's a method overloading we are saying. The one what I am saying is the method overloading. We are calling it as an polymorphism, correct? And second thing is the two things here generally. We are calling it as an only method overriding. But just by doing the method overriding, we will not be able to achieve the second type of polymorphism, which in general we will call it as an runtime polymorphism. We will not be able to achieve it. So in that case, what do we need it here? What do we need it? No, just, and see, this is a biggest confusion for all of you, that just by method overriding at any point of time you won't be able to achieve the what? You won't be able to achieve runtime polymorphism. You will not be able to achieve. So in that, very good, money. And method overriding, definitely you have to do the method overriding. But again, associated with this, you are going to write the dynamic dispatch also. Method overriding plus dynamic dispatch. You need to adopt this both. And if you are adopting this both, if you are trying to do something this both, then only you will be able to achieve the runtime polymorphism in that case, right? So about this, both how we are doing this, how we are doing this one, all these things we can again in the later classes we will be discussing here. Fine it is. But again, one more thing here. Okay, so I hope you are now all clear with the concepts of OOPS concept. You are all clear with the OOPS concept here. Fine. Now I am coming to one more thing, that we are calling it as an object oriented. Object oriented. So these all features, just now as I told you, these all are the features of object oriented programming. Object oriented programming, these all whatever we have is the features of object oriented programming. Remember that point. Object oriented programming. Okay. So what is exactly these things are? Orientation is what? Object orientation is what exactly here? So let me explain it first. See here. If I am writing a class, if let's say I am writing any class, any sort of things as I am going to do here. So here I am writing any class. Suppose something called as the, suppose let's say you are writing some class called as the student class you are writing. Student you are writing, fine. In Java in general, if you are writing anything like this, then you must have to write, what you have to write here, a class you must have to write, fine. I have written one class. Here in this case now, for Python there is different timing, Pranjal Singh, Python classes will be on different timing. This is the Java class timing. Okay, so inside this class, some properties we are going to define. Fine, some properties we are going to define. Properties we are going to define here, fine. Whatever this properties. So these properties and again some operations also you are going to define. Some properties you are going to define as well as some operations also you are defining. So there is some properties as well as the operation for a class you are writing, okay. Whenever you are writing these properties and as well as when we say that is the operation, so these all things are there inside a class, and these properties as well as these operations will only come into the picture once you create the object of the corresponding class. If you are creating the object of the class, then only these all things are going to come into the picture. And any kind of processing, any kind of accessing, any sort of things if you are going to do, so understand one thing, that you will be able to do with that object or reference of that corresponding class, and these all things will get memory into the object. So if anything you wanted to access, let's say here I am writing one thing here. What is that I am going to write now? I am going to write here the hello of h1 is equal to new of hello I am writing. This is one class I am writing here. Hello of h1 is equal to new hello. So what will happen? Generally, see, this is one memory, or basically you can call it as an heap memory. Later on you will come to know what is the heap memory. So we have some kind of memory which is the heap memory we are having, and in this memory these properties whatever we have, again in the different, this memory also will be further divided into many different parts. So I am not going into that parts of the memory, like how it is being defined, what all the other things are being done. I am not all that going into that, fine. So in that, what is happening here, that reference is being stored inside the h1 here, and that is pointing to this, fine. So what will happen, this object reference is available here, so anything you want to access, that you are going to do with the help of this only object itself here, object reference itself here. And that's what we are calling it as an object oriented, which means that everything is there here and oriented to this only. Anything whatever you wanted to do, you can do it. Yes, but in that also one question comes, that if these properties inside the class are some static properties you are defining. Let's say here int of, suppose you are writing some SID or some ABC, any feature you are writing, and if it is the static you are writing, if we are writing something called as the static, if it is something called as the static we are writing. So if I am writing something called as a static, so this property of a class, either it is a variable, or some kind of methods you are defining inside this class. And if it is the static method, let's write here, that is the in another form. What is that static method? Static void of m1 if I am writing. So this method or this variable can be accessed associated with the class name here. Are you getting my point? So in that case, some of you will say that now Java is not the 100% object oriented. Why? Because Because these static members of a class, we are able to access it without creating any object of the class. And that's the reason they will call it is not the 100% object oriented. But again, in that also some concepts are there, and that we will be discussing in the further classes. Because why I'm saying some topics, that is the further classes, because there is some specific time of some particular topics, and whenever that topics will come, that time we will discuss here. Okay. So, okay, now any questions from this basics of the OOPS concept into this? Any questions? I have just given the overview of this OOPS concept. The OOPS concept basic overview I have given into this. So, if you are getting any questions, any doubt in this, you can please ask in the comment box. And those who are watching it later on, if any kind of questions you are getting in that, you can please write it in the comment box. I'll be definitely replying back to you. If you are getting any sort of questions which you want that should be recorded from our side, or that should be, I should be live on that, you just write that question in the comment box. Definitely in some of the classes, some of the other timings, we will be including all that in our live class. Okay. Any kind of suggestions, feedback, anything is there, kindly write us in the comment box and let us know what you are thinking exactly about this class, about this live class and all other things. Right, guys? So, any questions from you all? Now, next one, tomorrow what I am going to discuss is here, I will tell you the topic name. Tomorrow, I am going to discuss the concept called as, the concept here, what we are going to call it as a classes and objects here. Classes and objects, that concepts we are going to discuss. That is from the tomorrow we are going to discuss here, right? So, thank you guys. Thank you for coming for YouTube live classes. Share it, like it, subscribe it, and press the bell icon to get the notifications. Right, it is. So, good night to all of you. Thanks for coming to the class. Good night. Good night, guys. Good night to all.